been tired for years. You know it. The people around you know it. And every solution you've tried, going to bed earlier, sleeping in on weekends, taking naps, drinking more coffee, drinking less coffee, trying new mattresses, trying new vitamins, none of it has actually fixed the problem. You're still tired. Not falling asleep tired. Just heavy. Just dragged. Just running on a battery that never seems to charge all the way back, no matter how many hours you put your head down. Here's the truth. Most of the tiredness you carry is not about sleep. And that is why none of the sleep-based solutions have worked. You've been treating the wrong condition for years. You've been adding hours of rest to a body that fundamentally doesn't need more rest. It needs something else entirely. The exhaustion most adults carry, the chronic, low-grade, never quite go away exhaustion, is not physical fatigue. It is a different kind of tiredness with completely different causes. And until you understand what's actually draining you, no amount of additional sleep is going to fix it. You'll just keep being tired no matter how much you sleep. Today, I want to walk you through 5 reasons you're tired. None of them are about sleep. All of them are about how you're living. And the thing I want you to understand by the end of this talk is that the energy you've been missing isn't waiting for you in another hour of rest. It's waiting in some specific changes to how you spend your days. By the time we're done, you'll know what's actually been draining you. And what you do with that knowledge is up to you. But here's the truth. Most people never figure this out. They go to their graves chronically tired, having spent thousands of nights getting plenty of sleep, never connecting their exhaustion to its actual sources. You can be different. You can see this clearly. Today, you see the gap between knowing where your tiredness comes from and not knowing is enormous. The people who know it can fix it. The people who don't know it never get out from under it. So pay attention. The next 30 minutes might change how you feel for the next 30 years. But you have to know it first. Because right now you've been working on the wrong problem, and you can't fix a problem you've misdiagnosed. Now, before we get into it, you must understand what your tiredness is actually costing you. Because most people, when they think about being tired, think about the immediate cost, the low energy, the hard mornings, the fog, the irritability. They don't think about what their tiredness is doing to the trajectory of their entire life. Here's the truth. The tired version of you isn't living the life you would be living if you weren't tired. The tired version makes smaller choices, takes fewer risks, avoids the conversations that matter, doesn't pursue the things they'd pursue if they had energy, settles for what's in front of them because reaching for more feels impossible. And after 10 years of being chronically tired, you haven't just spent 10 years drained. You've spent 10 years making smaller decisions than you would have made otherwise. You've stayed in jobs you'd have left. You've held relationships you'd have changed. You've avoided projects you'd have started. The tiredness shaped the life, and the life, in turn, kept producing the tiredness. You see, the cost of being tired isn't measured in coffee. It's measured in the lifetime of choices that the tired version of you makes, which the energized version of you would have made differently. 10 years of small choices add up to a different life than 10 years of bigger ones. And here's what most people don't realize. The tiredness is not a sign that you need to slow down. It is a sign that something about how you're living is leaking your energy faster than it can refill. And until you find the leaks and close them, more rest will not produce more energy. The energy was never being spent where you thought it was being spent. You must take this seriously, because the version of you who has energy operates in the world differently than the version of you who doesn't. The energized version sees opportunities. The tired version sleeps through. The energized version pursues things the tired version watches from the couch. And the gap between those two versions, accumulated over years, becomes the gap between two completely different lives. Today, 5 reasons you're tired, all of them fixable, none of them about sleep. Get them right. And the energy comes back. And when the energy comes back, everything else gets a chance to follow. You cannot keep doing this to yourself. The tired version of you this year is going to become the tired version next year and the next and the next, unless something changes. And the something changing has to start with you understanding that more sleep was never going to be the answer. The first thing you must see clearly is that there are 2 completely different kinds of tiredness, and they need completely different solutions. There's physical fatigue, the kind you get from running a marathon, working a hard physical day, or staying up too late one night. That kind of tiredness, sleep fixes. You go to bed, you sleep 8 hours, you wake up restored. And then there's the other kind, the kind you've been carrying for years, the kind that doesn't get fixed by sleep no matter how much you get. That kind of tiredness is not physical. It is psychological, emotional, structural. It comes from how you're living, not from how many hours your body has been horizontal. You see, most adults who say they're tired aren't actually sleep deprived. They're getting 6, 7, sometimes 8 hours of sleep. They're not jet lagged. They're not recovering from an illness. By every physical measure, they should be rested. But they don't feel rested. They feel drained. There's a difference between those 2 states. And the difference is the whole point. Sleep was designed to solve one specific problem: the depletion of physical resources during waking hours. It restores muscles. It clears metabolic waste. It consolidates memories. It does its job in 7 or 8 hours. After that, more sleep doesn't produce more rest. It just produces more time spent in bed. But the other kind of tiredness, the chronic, low-grade kind, wasn't created by physical depletion. It was created by what you've been spending your mental and emotional energy on. And sleep can't fix that, because sleep doesn't reach those layers. Sleep restores the body. It doesn't restore meaning. It doesn't restore connection. It doesn't restore alignment with your values. Those things drain through different channels, and they refill through different channels. You must accept this clearly before anything else can shift. The tiredness you've been treating with sleep was never going to respond to sleep. You've been giving your body more of a resource it didn't need, while ignoring the resources it actually needed. That's why nothing has worked. Not because you weren't trying hard enough, because you were trying the wrong thing. And once you stop trying to sleep your way out of a tiredness that sleep can't fix, you can start looking at what's actually draining you. The drain has been real. The exhaustion has been real. But the cause has been somewhere you weren't looking. And the rest of this talk is about where to actually look. The mistake of treating mental exhaustion as physical fatigue is the mistake most adults make for most of their adult lives. The fix isn't more rest. The fix is to figure out where the energy was actually going. Then plug those leaks one by one while you keep sleeping a normal amount. The second thing you have to look at is whether the work you spend most of your hours doing actually matters to you. Because if it doesn't, that's where most of your energy has been going. And no amount of sleep will fix the drain of spending your one life on things that don't feel like your life. You see, the human being is built to spend energy on things that feel meaningful and to recoil from spending energy on things that don't. When you spend hours on work that aligns with your values, you can put in long days and come out feeling fuller, not emptier. The work itself is energizing, even when it's hard. But when you spend hours on work that doesn't matter to you, that you don't believe in, that doesn't connect to anything you actually care about, the same number of hours leaves you wrecked. Same physical effort, completely different energy result. But here's the truth. Most people never connect their tiredness to the work they're doing. They think the work is just hard. They think they're just getting older. They never trace the drain to its actual cause. Because the energy wasn't being spent on the activity. It was being spent on the resistance to the activity. And here's the truth. Most adults are spending 8 or 9 hours a day on work that doesn't connect to anything they care about. They're going through the motions. They're performing their function. They're collecting their paycheck. And inside the whole transaction, there's a slow leak running constantly, draining the energy out of them at a rate they can't quite see, but definitely feel. By the end of the day, they're not tired because the work was hard. They're tired because every hour of meaningless work costs more energy than an hour of meaningful work would have cost. Their tiredness is the price of misalignment between what they're doing and what matters to them. You don't have to love your job to fix this. You don't have to find your passion. But you must find something in your daily work that connects to something you actually value. Even small alignments help. A relationship with a coworker that matters. A piece of the work you genuinely enjoy. A purpose underneath the function that you can connect to. And if you can't find any of that, if the work is top to bottom, disconnected from anything you care about, then you have to start looking for work that isn't, not as an escape fantasy. As a real slow, deliberate change you make over the next few years. Because the alternative is another decade of being tired for reasons that have nothing to do with sleep. You got to understand the math here. Misaligned work is a tax on your energy. The tax compounds over years. And after a long enough time, the tax becomes the dominant cost in your life. You can either keep paying it or start the work of restructuring towards something that doesn't tax you the same way. There is no third option. The third thing you have to look at is the volume of decisions you make every day. Not the big ones, those you've thought about. The hundreds of small ones. The micro decisions you don't even realize you're making because they happen so fast and feel so automatic that they slip under your awareness. Here's the truth. Every decision, no matter how small, costs energy. The brain has a fixed daily budget for decision making, and every decision draws against that budget. The big decisions cost more. The small ones cost a little. But there are hundreds of small ones. And by the end of the day, the small ones have drawn down the same total amount as a few big ones would have. And you didn't even notice the small ones happening. You decided what to eat for breakfast. You decided what to wear. You decided which way to take to work. You decided what to respond to first. You decided which meeting to prioritize. You decided what to say in 100 small conversations. By noon, you'd made more decisions than your grandfather made in a week. By bedtime, you'd made more than the average person in 1950 made in a month. The cumulative cost is enormous. And because you don't see each individual decision being made, you can't trace your tiredness back to it. You just feel depleted at the end of the day, without understanding where the energy went. It went into the 100 small decisions, each one taking a small bite, together taking the whole afternoon. You see, the people who have a lot of energy at the end of the day are not the people who got more sleep. They're the people who made fewer decisions. They have routines, they have defaults. They have preset answers to most of the questions that other people are deciding fresh each time. And the absence of those small daily decisions leaves them with the energy that everybody else spent without noticing. The fix is to systematize as many of your small decisions as possible. Wear similar things every day so you don't decide what to wear. Eat similar things for breakfast so you don't decide what to eat. Take the same route. Have a standing order at the place you go for lunch. Reduce the variety in your low-stakes decisions to almost nothing. And save the decision-making capacity for the few decisions that actually matter. The work decisions, the relationship decisions, the financial decisions, the ones where it's worth spending energy to choose carefully. Everything else gets a default. The default costs no energy. The default is the entire point. Within a month of running your low-stakes life on defaults, you will notice you have more energy in the afternoon than you used to. Not because anything physical changed, because you stopped spending your decision budget on whether to have toast or eggs. You cannot keep paying the decision tax on everything. The people with energy in the afternoon are the people who stopped paying it on the things that don't matter. The fourth thing you must look at, and this is the one most people resist hardest, is the people you spend your time with. Because some relationships fill you up and some drain you. And most adults have a network full of more draining relationships than they've ever been willing to admit. You see, every interaction with another human being is an energy exchange. Some people leave you energized. You walk away from a conversation with them feeling lighter, more alive, more capable. Some people leave you exhausted. You walk away feeling heavier, smaller, more depleted than when you started. Same conversation length, same physical effort, completely different energy result. And most people are carrying a network of relationships that, on balance, takes more energy than it gives. They don't see it because each relationship has been in their life for so long that they can't imagine evaluating it. They were friends in college. They've worked together for years. They're family. The relationship just is, and the question of whether it's costing them anything has never been seriously asked. Let me tell you about somebody. I once knew a man who had been chronically tired for years. He slept enough. He ate well. He exercised. He'd ruled out the physical causes one by one. He still felt drained every single day, and he didn't know why. Then, one evening, after dinner with a particular group of friends, he noticed he was wiped out for the next 2 days. Not just tired, really depleted. He couldn't shake it. And he thought back to the dinner, trying to figure out what had happened. The food was fine. The hours were normal. He'd slept that night. A week later, he had dinner with a different group of friends. After that dinner, he felt energized, lighter, more alive than he'd felt in months. Same kind of evening, same hours, same physical activity level, completely different aftermath. He started paying attention. He started tracking in a small notebook his energy level after every social interaction. After 2 months, The pattern was undeniable. Some people, every time, drained him. Some people, every time, refilled him. The categories were stable. The effects were predictable. And he had never noticed it before because the effects accumulated slowly across years. He realized that about a third of his social life was energetically a net loss. The relationships had been there for so long that he'd stopped questioning them. But every interaction with that third was costing him days of recovery. Multiplied across a year, that group was costing him weeks of energy. Over the next year, he slowly restructured his social life. He didn't end relationships dramatically. He just stopped initiating with the people who were draining him. He stopped saying yes to their invitations. He reduced his exposure quietly over months. And he leaned deliberately into more time with the people who filled him up. A year later, his energy was completely different. He wasn't tired anymore. He hadn't started sleeping more. He hadn't changed his job. He hadn't taken supplements. He had just changed who he was spending his hours with. And the energy that had been leaking out of him through those draining relationships came back to him slowly. Over the months, he stopped feeding the drain. He told me later that the deliberate audit of his social life was the single most consequential thing he'd ever done for his energy. Not sleep, not nutrition, not exercise. I am telling you, this is the variable most people never examine. Just paying honest attention to who took from him and who gave to him and adjusting accordingly. The leak was in the people. The fix was in changing who he spent his hours with. The fifth thing you must understand is counter to everything your tired brain is telling you. When you're chronically tired, your instinct is to rest more, to sit, to lie down, to skip the workout, to take it easy, and your instinct is wrong. Chronic tiredness, more often than not, needs the opposite of rest. It needs movement. You see, your body is built to move. When you don't move, the systems that produce energy in your body start to downregulate. The metabolism slows, the circulation weakens, the hormonal balance shifts in directions that produce more fatigue, not less. And the longer you sit telling yourself you're resting, the more depleted you actually become. The cruel paradox is that the more tired you feel, the less you want to move. And the less you move, the more tired you feel. The cycle reinforces itself week after week, year after year, until you can't remember what it felt like to have natural energy. Here's the truth. The people with the most energy throughout the day are not the people who rested the most. They're the people who moved the most. Their bodies are running. Their metabolism is engaged. Their cardiovascular system is pushing fresh oxygen through them constantly. The energy is produced by the movement, not despite it. And the people who are chronically tired and chronically sedentary are caught in a feedback loop that more sleep cannot break. You cannot sleep your way out of a problem that movement created. You have to move to break the cycle. Because the sleep restores the body's resources. But the body's resources are being mismanaged by lack of activity. So they get added to a system that can't use them efficiently. And the system stays tired no matter how much input it gets. You got to start moving, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Start small. A 20-minute walk in the morning before anything else. Some kind of strength, work 3 times a week. Stretching when you watch television in the evening. The form of movement matters less than the frequency. And here's what happens, almost without exception. The first 2 weeks feel terrible. You're tired anyway. And now you're tired and moving. It feels like you're making it worse. You're not. you're crossing the bridge. By week 3, something shifts. The morning walk that exhausted you in week 1 starts to wake you up in week 3. By month 2, you can't remember being as tired as you used to be. By month 6, you have natural energy you haven't had in years. Same amount of sleep, same diet, same job, different relationship with movement. I am telling you, this is one of the most counterintuitive truths in all of self-care. The thing that feels like it will make you more tired, getting up and moving when you're exhausted, is the thing that actually makes you less tired in the long run. The opposite of your instinct is the cure. And the energy that used to feel impossible to access is now available to you every day, because the system that produces it is running properly again. The rest you've been adding hasn't been working. The movement, added gradually, is what would have worked the entire time. So here is the inversion you have to make. Most people, when they're tired, try to add more rest. The fix is almost never more rest. The fix is to find the leaks in your energy system and close them one at a time while you keep the rest. You've been getting roughly where it is. Start with the work. Honestly, ask yourself, does what I spend most of my day doing connect to anything I actually value? If the answer is no, you found a leak. You don't have to quit tomorrow. But you must begin the slow work of restructuring towards something that doesn't cost you the same way. Move to the decisions. Look at your day and identify the dozens of small choices you're making fresh every time. What you wear, what you eat, what route you take, what you respond to first. Systematize them. Make them defaults. Save your decision-making capacity for things that actually matter. Go to the relationships. Honestly evaluate the people in your life. Who fills you up? Who drains you? You don't have to be brutal about it, but you must be honest. The relationships that consistently drain you are leaks you can't afford. Reduce your exposure slowly, quietly, without drama. Spend more time with the people who refill you. Then add movement, not as an exercise program, as a way of life. Every single day, something, a walk, a stretch, a lift, something that engages the body and tells your system you are still in motion. Walk more, stand more, lift heavy things sometimes. Stretch when you're not doing anything else. The movement is not on top of your tired life. It's the antidote to your tired life. And the antidote works slowly, but it works. And here's the truth. Once you've closed those leaks, you don't need to add anything else. The sleep you were already getting becomes enough. The body that was tired starts producing the energy it was supposed to be producing all along. The drag lifts. The fog clears. And you start having access to the version of yourself that has not been available to you for years. That version is who you actually are when you're not being drained. They were always there. They were just buried under leaks you didn't know you had. Close the leaks, and they come back. And the life they live, with all that recovered energy, looks different from the life the tired version was barely getting through. That's the whole reframe. Stop adding rest. Start subtracting leaks. The energy was always going to come back. It just couldn't, while the drains were still running. So here's what I want you to carry with you. The tiredness you've been carrying for years isn't going to be fixed by more sleep. You've been sleeping enough. You've been treating the wrong problem. The energy you've been missing has been leaking out of you through 5 specific drains: misaligned work, decision fatigue, draining relationships, lack of movement, and underneath all of that, the slow accumulation of mismatch between how you're living and what would actually feed your spirit. Close those leaks one at a time over the next year, and the energy comes back. Not because anything magical happens, because the system that was always supposed to produce energy starts working again the way it was designed to work before you started pouring your hours into things that drained it faster than it could refill. I am telling you, this is the secret most adults never figure out. They spend their entire lives trying to add input, more rest, more vitamins, more caffeine, when the real fix was always to reduce the output. The output, once you see it clearly, can be reduced significantly. And the energy that used to leak comes back to you every single day as soon as you stop letting it leave. Pick one leak this week, the one that hit you hardest when you heard about it. Start closing it, slowly, deliberately, without dramatic changes that you won't sustain. Just one small adjustment this week in the direction of plugging one drain. Then pick the next one in a month, then the next. Over the course of a year, you'll have plugged most of them. And by the end of that year, you will have access to a version of yourself you haven't met in a long time. The version that was always there underneath the exhaustion. The version that has the energy to actually live the life you've been wanting to live. That version is waiting, not in another hour of sleep, in some specific changes to how you've been spending the hours you have. You must make the changes. Watch the energy come back every single day as the leaks close one by one. The tiredness was never going to be solved the way you were trying to solve it. The solution was always somewhere else. You cannot afford to spend another decade tired. Not because tiredness is dangerous, because every year of being tired is a year of small choices made by the exhausted version of you, instead of the choices the energized version of you would have made. And those small choices add up to a different life than the one you would have lived if the energy had been there. Get the energy back. The version of you who has it is waiting, has been waiting, will keep waiting until you do the work of plugging the leaks and letting that version come back to the surface. Today is a good day to start. So is tomorrow. The only bad day to start is the one where you decide to wait another month before figuring out where your energy actually went.